Hello, everyone. This is John Blankensop. Today is October 2nd, 2023. And for those of us whose organizations have a fiscal calendar that start in October, Happy New Year. I thought it would be a great way to kick off the new fiscal year by launching a new Big Q University knowledge sharing series that I call Now Let's Get Real About Quality. I want this knowledge sharing series to be a little bit different than the LinkedIn newsletter that I do called Big Q University Knowledge Nuggets. I want this to be a little less rehearsed, a little bit more informal, and kind of just let a free flowing of thoughts and ideas kind of come out through this knowledge sharing series. I really want us to discuss real quality management issues that we face as quality management professionals and quality assurance professionals within our organizations and the industries that we work in. I also want us to explore possible solutions that address these issues in a way that we might achieve long-term sustained success for our organizations. So I'm in my home office this evening. I'm hunkered down in my captain's chair. I'm feeling pretty comfortable, pretty relaxed, and I thought we would explore and get real about quality. I had some ideas about what we would discuss, and I thought we would get real about quality by taking a look at ASQE, which is ASQ Excellence. Take a look at their recent insights on excellence research results that they published in their 2022 executive brief and their 2023 category report. So I hope that sounds interesting to you. If you haven't taken a look at these two reports, if you are an ASQ member, you can download both of these reports for free. Log into your account on the ASQ website and search for ASQE Insights on Excellence 2022 Executive Brief and 2023 Category Report. And you'll be able to order them free and have them download electronically to you. So I found these reports to be really interesting. I used some of the information in these reports for presentations that I did at the 2023 World Conference on Quality and Improvement in Philadelphia. I did a presentation titled Impactful Leadership for Quality. And then recently at the 2023 Quality Innovation Summit in Boston, I did a presentation that was titled Essential Leadership for Quality Innovation. So let's take a look at some information from these reports that I found interesting. First, within these reports, they have a section that they call barriers and disruptors. And I believe that a lot of this information was in the 2023 category report that just came out. So one of these barriers or disruptors had to do with a question that they asked in their research survey. The question was, to what extent do you agree that quality is essential to your business strategy and that the pursuit of excellence is evident throughout your organization, involving all people at all levels, with its achievements linked to results? So in the 2022 research, 70% of respondents in the research survey did not completely agree with that statement. So only 30% completely agreed with that statement. Now, that was up from last year in 2021, or the last year of results, 2021, where 64% did not completely agree. Now, I'm going to put it out there. I don't know about you, something for you to think about, maybe comment, but this idea of quality being essential to our business strategy, I see that as a must-have, not a nice-to-have. And I would expect a much, much higher level of individuals that would completely agree with that statement in their organization. What do you think about that? Now, another barrier or disruptor that came out of the 2023 category report was a question that was asked about quality culture. And the question was, what are your top 5 challenges that you face in your organization when it comes to adopting quality programs to meet the needs of the entire workforce? So they had to pick from a predetermined list of challenges. One of the items on that list was quality is a culturally sensitive issue, and 43% of the respondents in the entire pool of respondents from 2020 to 2022, so 3 years of research surveys, 2020, 2021, and 2022, 43% of those respondents indicated that quality is a culturally sensitive issue as being one of their top 5 challenges that they face in adopting quality programs to meet the needs of the entire workforce. So when it comes to getting real about quality, I think there's no doubt that we have ourselves a challenge relative to creating a quality culture that is not a sensitive issue within organizations. Now, when we think about quality in operations, I highlighted 3 questions from the research survey that ASQE asked. One of those questions was, to what extent do you agree that quality is important to your business and that there is focus on quality and that is evident in many areas of your organization? Now in 2022, 62% of the respondents did not completely agree with that. And that was up from 2021, where 57% of respondents did not completely agree with that. The next question was, to what extent do you agree that we focus on quality as an explicit business objective? And wow, 71% of the respondents in the 2022 survey did not completely agree with that. And that was up from 2021, where 63% did not completely agree with that. And then the third question I highlighted for us to consider is, to what extent do you agree that quality is a key value within your organization and it drives everything that you do? In 2022, 58% of the respondents did not completely agree with that, up from 2021 results where 51% of respondents did not completely agree with that. So again, I'm putting it out there for us to think about. I think these 3 questions, these 3 areas, quality is important, we focus on quality, and quality is a key value. To me, these are not nice to haves, these are must haves. These are either green or they're red. And so these numbers reflect a grouping of respondents that don't completely agree with these statements, which really means, from a let's get real about quality, we've got a lot of work to do within our profession. Another question that was asked is, do you believe that yet to be resolved ongoing quality issues are affecting the overall competitiveness of your organization. Now, in both 2022 and 2021, close to 90% of the respondents either said yes, they do believe that, or that they somewhat believe that. So for me, this is interesting story that I wanted to tell in a slide that for me is really about getting real about quality. You know, we see ongoing quality issues as having a major effect on our overall ability to be competitive in our organization. But at the same time, the vast majority of the respondents do not completely agree with the statement that quality is important to our business. We focus on quality, and quality is a key value of our organization. So again, a lot of work for us in this world of quality management and quality assurance. Now, of course, when we think about this state of being, this context that maybe we're facing, maybe your organization is facing it right now. I know I'm working with some organizations that are facing it. I think our minds naturally would go to, well, what's the cause? And probably one of the first things we would think about is the level of leadership involvement and leadership commitment to organizational excellence and quality or quality programs. Well, ASQE in their research surveys, they ask a question, and that question is, to what extent do you agree that leadership in your organization is actively involved in quality or quality programs? And in 2022, respondents that identified as executives, 73% of them did not completely agree with that statement. That's up from 2021, where 61% of executives did not completely agree with that statement. When it came to quality professionals, 72% did not completely agree with that statement, up from 2021, where 70% of quality professionals did not agree with that statement. Now, based on the way respondents responded to this question by disagreeing to several traits of leadership, I've come up with a list of the top 4 greatest opportunities for leadership improvement. Again, based on respondents' disagreement of these leadership attributes. So one was being open to change. That was the number one item that respondents disagreed with. So a greatest opportunity for us is be open to change. Next, openly support a culture of open dialogue, make quality a priority, and make significant investments in the workforce. What do you think about this list? How many of you might be suffering with this in your organization, where leadership is not open to change, not openly supporting a culture of open and honest dialogue, not making quality a priority, and not making significant investments in the workforce? So this comes to my first, now let's get real. And I'm going to throw this out here for us to think about. This issue with leadership involvement in quality or quality programs. Do you see this as a leadership issue, or maybe is this more a quality management discipline issue? What do you think about that? Is it a leadership issue, or is it a quality management discipline issue? I think I want to answer that question with another question. And this is a question I've been asking a lot lately. And that is, how can we, quality management professionals within our organizations, have a more profound impact on leadership so our leadership can have a more profound impact on quality? Well, if you've attended either of my presentations, either at the World Conference on Quality and Improvement or at the Quality Innovation Summit, one of the things I talk about is the first thing that we need to do is transform the individual leader. And this is something that comes to us from Dr. Deming. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace leadership's prevailing cultural BS. And you remember what I said BS was, right? It's belief system. So we want to help them let go of their prevailing cultural belief system and replace it with a belief system that I call Big Q quality management. We want them to become Big Q quality minded. Now, if you hadn't had a chance, in my LinkedIn newsletter series called Big Q University Knowledge Nuggets, I talk about Big Q quality management and the tenets of transformation and how we use those tenets of transformation to build leadership training and development that will help us transform individual leaders. So Big Q quality management tenets of transformation start with the paradigm or the belief system. And that belief system is company-wide quality management versus quality department quality management. The second is that the universal truth of Big Q quality management is all systems are perfectly designed to give you exactly what you're getting today. The universal processes that we use in Big Q quality management are quality planning, quality control, and quality improvement. The universal approach to Big Q quality management is systems-driven process approach to quality management. And then the universal framework of Big Q quality management fundamental principles is the framework listed here, where we have customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, the process approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, and relationship management. Now, in addition to that, we also have to help leaders understand the value proposition of Big Q quality management by teaching them the fundamentals of total cost of quality and help them learn that Big Q quality management actually pays the organization and little q quality management costs the organization. Now, once we have a transformed leader, we then have to help the leader see 3D quality, and we have to help the leader engage in 3D quality. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. The next step is the first D, and that is to define quality. We have to help leaders define quality in the organization. They do this through understanding the current context of the organization. And what we mean by that is, what external and internal issues does the organization face relative to Big Q quality management and the tenets of transformation and the 7 fundamental Big Q quality management principles. For instance, it would appear that a large number of organizations have internal issues with leadership and engagement of people. If that's the case, then how do I define quality in a way that addresses those weaknesses? Defining quality means I create identity for the organization through mission, vision, values, and culture. I create what's called a cultural aspiration. This cultural aspiration or expectations sets beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, habits, and thinking patterns for the organization. The next D that I have to help leadership with is driving quality. And we drive quality through creating unity of purpose and direction. And that must be led by top management. They must understand and be active participants in creating a quality policy, quality objectives, and quality strategy. This in turn leads to the next step, which is the third D, and that is delivering quality. We deliver quality by execution through systems, processes, people, and resources, resulting in performance, learning, and innovation. That execution creates what I call the cultural actualization through our actions out in the organization. And what's important to us is in the fifth step, we've got to create a feedback system that will feed back to leadership that actualized culture through the execution of systems and processes. And what are we looking for here? So what I like to say is we're looking for the alignment between aspiration and actualization. And when we don't have that alignment, what we have in an organization is what I call an organizational identity crisis. We talk the talk, but we don't walk the talk. All right. In some cases, I even refer to it as organizational schizophrenia, where you're listening to two voices at one time. You have the voice of leadership over here in defining quality that says this is the way. And then you have the voice of action in the execution of systems and processes that basically says, no, this is the way. So it's very important that we have this feedback loop. So what happens when we do have a misalignment is we understand it from a context perspective as being an issue that then would drive us to redefine quality. We're going to have to make changes in our identity, mission, vision, values, culture. We've got to change the expectations around beliefs, attitudes, behaviors, habits, and thinking patterns. Then we use that redefinition of quality to redrive quality through tweaks in unity of purpose and direction, policy, objectives, and strategies, which then will help us deliver quality and actualize the culture that we aspire to actualize through the execution of systems and processes using people and resources. Now, this alignment between cultural actualization and cultural aspiration is really critical. We can't forget what our friend Peter Drucker has said. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if the culture we are actualizing is not the culture that we aspire to be, the unity of purpose and direction that we try to create to drive quality relative to strategy coming off of policies and objectives will fail because the actualized culture is going to eat that strategy for breakfast. So if any of you are followers of John Maxwell, you'll know that he says a true leader is one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. So the same holds true for 3D quality leadership. We need a leader who knows the way through defining quality by creating identity that is based in context. We need a leader who shows the way by driving quality through creating unity of purpose and direction. And then we need a leader that goes the way through delivering quality by leading the efforts of executing systems and processes with people and resources to achieve performance and learning and innovation. Now, I hope you all realize that none of this is new under the sun, and all of it has its roots back to the work that the founding fathers of quality management have done. And those founding fathers are Dr. Deming, Dr. Juran, and Dr. Ishikawa, and of course contributions from other key quality gurus in this broad field of study. In addition to that, all of this information can also be found in the contents of ISO 9000 2015, ISO 9001 2015, and ISO 9004 2018. So I would highly recommend that if you don't already, get a hold of copies of all three of these documents. ISO 9000 2015 is the vocabulary and concepts document. ISO 9001 is the quality management system requirements document. And ISO 9004 is a quality management maturity assessment document. To truly understand the big picture of quality management, especially as it relates to transforming a leader to be big Q quality minded and to see 3D quality and engage in 3D quality leadership, really requires that you have a solid understanding of these three documents. I think this is going to be a good place for us to end our first episode of Now Let's Get Real About Quality. I hope you found this to be a valuable use of your time. I hope you gained some insights and some information about some real quality management issues that many of us are facing in our organizations and industry, and also some ways for us to attack or approach those issues. One of the things that I would really like to say in closing is that it's very easy for all of us to point the fingers up at leadership. I don't think anybody in a leadership role goes into that role to drive quality into the ground or to fail. We've got to understand that as quality management professionals, we have a responsibility to manage up and to help develop our leaders into big Q quality minded leaders. So I hope that you agree with that and that you will really consider that as you continue to move forward in your organization and work with your top management. As you think about how you can better impact leadership so leadership can better impact quality.